Hello there, good people. Welcome back to Icelandic Psycho. Hunting Season with Mel Gibson is a new thriller that just arrived in streaming Blu-ray. It's coming out on Blu-ray, but this feels like the movie, the Liam Neeson movie of the year, but it's starring Mel Gibson, which I think is a nice change of pace. Hunting Season is one of these movies where you know exactly what you're getting within the first 10 minutes. It's a survival thriller with familiar beats, familiar tension, and a story we've seen many times before. Death Wish, anyone? The story circles around Mel Gibson and his daughter, Lizzie, as they find this young girl in the woods, fighting for her life, January.
Somebody shot her, left for dead. What do you figure they'll do if they find out she's alive?
January comes into their home, and all of a sudden, they develop a strong bond with her, especially Mel Gibson's daughter Lizzie. But the movie doesn't take enough time for you to really believe that in the way that it wants you to. She loses her mother when she is very young, and she says that having January at the place reminds her of the feeling of having her mom there. I don't believe that. They don't get that across strongly enough, what they want you to feel and what they want you to believe. If the movie had slowed down and explored Lizzie's past more, her memories, her grief, or even quiet moments of reflection, that relationship could have been the emotional backbone of the entire film, but it's not. Instead, it feels underdeveloped, like a great idea that never gets the attention it deserves. Now, overall, Hunting Season feels like the Liam Neeson movie of the year. You know the type: competent, watchable, familiar, and largely carried by its lead performance, right? And to put things into perspective real quick, Mel Gibson is the best thing about this film. His performance gives a real weight to this film, which the film oftentimes is losing, right? Gibson brings a grounded, lived-in presence to the role. He's intense without being over the top, and he actually feels believable in this world. So, whatever your expectations are going into this film, his acting elevates this material. This isn't a bad movie necessarily, but it's like a C. It's not a particularly memorable one either. If you're watching for Mel Gibson, you'll probably enjoy it for what it is. It has its moment, right? So if you're hoping for a fresh take or a deeply fleshed out emotional story, this one might leave you wanting more, you see. Now, there are some scenes in this film, for example, where Mel Gibson is looking for his policeman friend and he can't find him, and this other policeman guy shows up and he's like, "Why are you looking for him so much? What's happening with you two guys?" And this is a new character all of a sudden, where it's towards the end of the film. But they're just basically setting him up for another scene. But this is a character that just showed up, and it's just like, the core concept of Hunting Season is nothing new. That's not necessarily a problem. I watched it. I usually watch these kind of films, the Liam Neeson films, It's not a problem as long as the execution delivers. And where this movie really falls short for me is the execution of the story that could have been the strongest part of the film. Maybe add 20 minutes and do some more depth with your characters in the story, and then it could have been maybe a B. Perhaps, yeah, because I think that there's some elements that could have elevated above this basic romp that you see once and it's like, do I recommend this movie? Not really, but if you like Mel Gibson and want to check it out, go have a watch. But let's say his movie Bloodfather, which also is not excellent, it's also something that Mel Gibson elevates. Still, this is a much more rewatchable film. Reminded me of this. Just a little film with Mel Gibson in the front, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Icelandic Psycho, over and out.